Broadcasting live from the Business RadioX studios in Phoenix, Arizona, it's time for Phoenix Business Radio, spotlighting the city's best businesses and the people who lead them.
Good afternoon and welcome to Collaborative Connections radio show and podcast sponsored by KLM. I'm your host, Kelly Lorenzen, and we're coming to you live from the Phoenix Business RadioX studios inside Max 6 in Tempe, Arizona. Collaborative Connections was started to bring people together, bring business owners and the cities and the chambers and associations alike to collaborate and hopefully grow this community better. And what better way to do that by my special guest today. I can't wait to introduce you. So we'll start with Jill Buschbacher from the City of Tempe. Thank you so much for being here today. Tell us a little bit about yourself, and then I get to introduce my other two guests.
Fantastic. Thanks for having me today. So I've been with the city about 6 years. I'm in our economic development department as a program manager. I'm our business liaison. I work with small businesses, entrepreneurs, and just try to help in every way that I can, connect them to resources, work with our partners like the Tempe Chamber. Denise's team has been fantastic to work with, and a variety of other folks in the community to, kind of keep all of our businesses happy, healthy, and here, as we like to say.
Oh, I love that. Perfect. Welcome, Denise Hart with the Tempe Chamber of Commerce. Thanks for being on with us today.
Thank you very much for having me. So I am Denise Hart, and I'm the Interim President and CEO of the Tempe Chamber of Commerce. I've been here for about 4 months now, but I'm not new to the chamber world, as I was the President and CEO of Apache Junction Chamber of Commerce, and I've been in the Tempe business community for about 15 years now. 2016 Tempe Businesswoman of the Year, very proud of that, and been very involved in the business environment here in Tempe, and glad to be here with you today.
I know, we're so excited to have you back.
And happy to have you in that role.
Yeah.
Very happy. And my third guest and friend and mentor and power partner, Karen Nowicki.
Thank you.
Welcome to the show.
I love being a guest. I host so many shows that every once in a while when I get to sit on this side, it's kind of fun. So I'm Karen Nowicki, and I own and operate Phoenix Business RadioX, where we are broadcasting from today, right here in Tempe. And it's where we help businesses and connect businesses with the right people and shine the light on the great work that people are doing. And kind of like Jill said, just helping people all move in the same direction, towards whatever success and how that's defined for them. I also have a coaching practice, and my coaching practice is Deep Impact Leadership, where I help executive leaders most typically just work out of a funk or a sticking point and take themselves to the next level, whether it's in life or business. And I'm thrilled to be here. It's been, I feel like, didn't we just celebrate for you 75 stories told? Yes.
So 75 businesses highlighted in the last couple of years.
On Collaborative Connections. Yeah. Businesses, nonprofits as well, and associations. Congratulations, and thank you for letting us thank you for letting us be part of your team and your media partner.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I wouldn't do it any other way. So, well, let's jump right in. I'll start with you, Jill. Give us a little background on where you've come from and where you're headed personally and professionally.
Sure. So I've been doing economic development and workforce development in the Valley for about the last 20 years with City of Phoenix, with the county, and also with the Commerce Authority, and now in Tempe for about 6 years. So it's been a really fun journey. I've gotten to do a lot of really interesting projects and work with all different industries, whether it was helping put together, partnerships with community colleges to train folks in manufacturing, or it was, simply things like helping folks get through the plan review and permitting process in the city in which I worked. So it's been a lot of fun, a lot of different interesting projects, and during this time, it's been especially great to work with our partners, the Chamber, Downtown Tempe Authority, Local First, and Tempe Tourism, really to come up with great programs, that were relevant and helpful to help folks kind of survive and thrive during this very challenging time. So, and then kind of, I think you asked what's next as well. So there are a lot of neat things coming up. We just got some new funding to do some new programs for small businesses. We're going to be doing a job blizzard pretty soon, which is very similar to what we did this summer in our job monsoon, where we're helping kind of to really promote the hiring opportunities across the various kinds of businesses in our community. And we were pretty successful with that. About 85% of the businesses that participated last time said they'd want to do it again. So we'll be doing that the week of January 15th. And folks can come in to those businesses that have signed up for it and learn all about the hiring opportunities and apply. And in some cases, get on-the-spot interviews during that week. So it's very exciting.
Very, very exciting, right? Bring in the community. We need, everybody is hurting for staff and help, and that will be huge. So thank you for doing that. Denise, tell us a little bit about your background and where you're headed.
Okay. Well, I've had a very interesting life, and I'm very blessed to have all the experiences I've had. Born in Texas, raised in Hawaii, and not very many people can say that. That was a wonderful experience. But I've been in the sports marketing industry, worked at Nike, worked with a lot of the athletes that everyone knows and loves, including Michael Jordan and Bo Jackson and many more. And then went into the shopping center industry and was the vice president of marketing with Vestar, and over 38 shopping centers in 5 different states, and also worked at Arizona Mills. I did a little stint there as well as doing their marketing before I found the chamber world. And so I've been in the chamber industry for close to three years now, and really enjoying working with businesses and helping small businesses and large businesses, of course, especially as they navigate through this pandemic and post-pandemic world that we're all dealing with and having to struggle with. We don't know what comes next, what's coming next, and we are just adapting and being flexible, and that's why it's great to have such great partnerships with the city and with Downtown Tempe Authority and with Tempe Tourism. So what's next for us would be just to continue our partnerships. I think workforce development and, finding people for our companies that are looking to hire is at the top. That is the utmost priority right now, I think, for our businesses. And so looking forward to working on some innovative programs to help everyone.
Oh, that'll be so great. I can't wait to hear about that.
Yeah.
And Karen, tell us a little bit about your background and where you're headed.
Sure. Third grade teacher way back when, before I had kids, in the Kyrene School District, and quickly advanced to an administrative role as a vice principal for the first Intel school partnership in the country. And that was, I was at the time going for my master's in educational leadership, but I kind of got bit by the business bug in 2 paid internships that we got to do as administrators at Intel, because I sat in these large meetings for the departments that I was working for the summer, and was contributing and had insightful observations and a different take on what these folks who'd been doing it day in, day out. I could offer something unique. And so I walked away from that second internship thinking, if I wanted to leave education ever, would my ed leadership master's be the best bet? And so I switched and went for organizational development instead. And that's when my world really just kind of blew up around, wow, this idea of educating, still having a love for education, but also education is a pretty broad term, especially when you involve adults and community. And conscious capitalism is a big part of our station here. And I know Kelly sits on the board with them. And the whole idea that stakeholder involvement, which is what you both have been speaking about as well, is so critical that we want to look for the win-win-win, right? The employee, the vendor, the customer, the community, everything. So I've just found my way to being a consultant and a coach the last 15, 16 years. And have done many things in between to get my my entrepreneurial spirit in order enough to open this business and continue to grow my coaching practice. You had mentioned the career workforce readiness, and we're lucky here at Business RadioX to have an intern from Corona High School. Our Mary is part of the Tempe Career Ready program, and today we actually have her first review, which is exciting. And yesterday she launched her radio show, her podcast, and it's called Under the Rug, discussing stories that influence business that often don't get spoken about, really talking about inclusion, diversity. And this is Mary as a junior in high school came up with this whole thing. I said, hey, you're with us for 8 weeks. Yeah, so you guys got to sit in the interview with us, right? I knew that, but then as I was storytelling, I forgot that we got to sit there and listen to many of these high school kiddos. And it's a great program, of course, in partnership with the Tempe City and, of course, the Tempe Chamber. And she's having a blast. And Daryl and I said to her, we want you to do a show. And this is what we do for businesses and how we help organizations. What do you think is important from your youthful perspective? And she immediately knew what she wanted to do. And she came up with the name Under the Rug by herself. And her launch was fantastic yesterday. So we're busy doing that. And I'm part of the Women in Business Council for the Tempe Chamber as well. And Daryl was just accepted into the Daryl, I keep saying Daryl as if our listeners know, he's our producer and community manager. He was just selected as a protege for the mentor program. And I got to be a mentor last year, but I'm going to step away and let him soak it all up this time around. And just looking forward to 2022 and growing my coaching practice now that I have Daryl in place full time. He'll continue to run the studio, and I'll work on growing deep impact leadership and Axiom coaching.
Exciting. I can't wait to hear more. Speaking of job readiness, tell us a little more about the Career Ready Tempe and the Job Blizzard, because a lot of listeners I know of our listeners are entrepreneurs, they're business owners, they're people who need this help, right? They need. The shortage is insane. We're hearing it from every industry. So for listeners, tell us what the program is and then how can people find out about it? Because, oh my gosh, to give a junior in high school the media and, oh, by the way, you can be a show host and, oh, by the way, you probably are going to want to open your own business because of all the stuff she's doing already.
And Kelly has had a chance to train her for us because I hire Kelly frequently for a lot of those projects that I can't take on myself because I'm running in 90 different directions. And so Kelly has had an opportunity to help train. So we all know Mary. Shout out to Mary. So yes, I didn't explain Career Ready Tempe very well. I trust that both of you can do a better job.
Yeah, so Career Ready Tempe was starting, 2 years ago, Jill, I think? Something like 2 years ago. And what it is we take junior and seniors from Tempe high schools that come from a lower household income. And we pair them with a business here in Tempe, and it gives them an internship so that they can see what a real life work experience is like. And it is running currently this year through December. Typically, they're held in the summer months, which is a lot easier for the students to get away. But because of COVID, we had to push it off to fall this year. But next summer, we'll be starting in the summertime. So what happens is we have a committee that gets together and we look at all the students that have applied and we offer it to the businesses at no charge whatsoever. So this program is fully funded. And we pair them based on the interests, the common interests between the two of them, and also their accessibility, how they can get to that job, and on their time frame as well, as when do they get out of school and when are they available and when does the business need their help. It's going very well. It's good to hear that Mary's doing such a great job. I'm excited for her. This is a great program for her, and we're looking forward to continuing next year.
And I would just add to that with that program, we're so pleased to see the successes those students have had. In the previous cohorts, we had some folks that were hired. We had some folks that continued their education as a result. They learned about these new industries, and they really were exposed to some great opportunities that were right here in their own backyards that they probably wouldn't have been aware of otherwise. And what's exciting, too, about the program is that they have some other wraparound services that our businesses have told us are really important to them. Like they get some soft skills training right up front, and they get some ability to get some business attire at no cost to them through Dress for Success. And it's just, we have some really neat partnerships around that and great opportunities for these youth that participate. And the businesses are just so thrilled and excited at our celebration last time. I thought the business speaker was going to float off the stage with excitement. She was just so thrilled with the intern she had, and I believe she ended up hiring him as well. So really, really just a fabulous program with great partnerships and funding, and excited to see what this next group will bring.
And the students are paid.
Yeah,
I love
and
that.
that's great for a small business owner like me, who, again, having just made a commitment to bring on, somebody full time and still needing help. It was very appealing to say, well, how could we best take advantage of this opportunity and make it, again, a win-win for everybody involved. I will say, Adrian, who is the director for it, he's fantastic.
Yes, he is.
And as Jill described, the soft skills and helping the students determine what are your goals, right? Not only the soft skills, but also the business-related skills. It's been nice as a business owner to really understand how the program is laid out, not only from a student perspective, but it's also helping me sharpen some of my skills around making sure that I'm the right leader for her. So I appreciate what the city and the chamber have done to prepare us as business owners, but also our interns as well. So thank you both for that.
And the next generation.
For sure. Yes.
I mean, we can't do enough, right, for the next generation coming up to say, okay, what else can we give you? What else can we give you? The leadership skills that they're learning in that program. Oh my gosh, I would have died for those, for those opportunities back then. It's a great opportunity. And then the job blizzard. So give us a little bit more.
I'm not familiar with it. You mentioned the monsoon.
Yeah, you told us about the dates, but tell us more what that means,
sure.
like how to get involved or that.
Sure. We talk about this so much internally, we get excited and we probably skip over some of the important details. So it's really to help businesses promote their hiring opportunities. So think of it as kind of a reverse job fair in some ways. So instead of going to a convention hall and all sitting at these little tables and booths and talking to folks as they come through, we're getting all that hiring information up front, creating a website, and the businesses then host the folks on site. So the candidate gets to go to the business on those dates and meet with hiring managers and learn about the opportunities and the culture, and they get to see what's the commute there. What's the building look like where I'm going to be driving to every day, or who is this hiring manager that I might work for? They get to learn so much more, and it was kind of interesting because we were going to have it kind of in that older model, as I mentioned, like the convention center type model. But we started to hear from our businesses, gosh, we can't even spare a person to go sit at a table at an event right now. We're so understaffed. And we thought, well, how could we do it differently? And we came up with this job monsoon idea.
Brilliant.
And so we provided posters and lots of PR. It's really a PR campaign. But it helped these businesses that wouldn't otherwise have the ability to have all these morning, TV and radio spots and have the mayor out there speaking about them and their opportunities. So it was really a neat experience, and we're excited to be kind of doing the 2.0 version of that in January.
Exciting. So tell us the dates again for that.
That's the week of January 15th.
Okay. And people can find the information, I assume, on tempe.gov.
Yes. Thank you.
Kelly's done this a time or two, right? She'll nudge us along so we say what we need to say.
Yeah. And we'll also have it on our chamber website, tempechamber.org.
Oh, good. Perfect. Speaking of 2022, what do you got coming, Karen, in your world in 2022?
Gosh, so many things. So I'll narrow it down because I could talk all day. We just launched, myself and a couple of fellow business owners, the 100 businesses that care Greater Phoenix Giving Circle. Jacqueline Destremps, who owns Another Hand Advantage, has been on the kind of the founding committee for the 100 businesses, 100 Women Who Care Valley of the Sun. And I think they've been around for maybe 6 years, maybe longer. 5 or 6 years. And so as a business owner and somebody who's been contributing to the Ahwatukee Circle for several years, I kept thinking we need to make this, available for business owners too. It's lovely to do it as a woman in business, but I would love to bring that idea around philanthropy to business owners. So the circle will be right here at MAC 6. January 19th is our first Giving Circle. We had a soft launch in October where we just invited people to come and learn a little bit about what this Giving Circle is like. And the whole idea is that we come together once a quarter, and a business owner and or somebody who represents maybe a larger enterprise can come and become a member. There's no fee, but the group comes together once a quarter. They listen to 3 different shares about some sort of nonprofit who has been vetted by their leadership team, and it has to be a 501c3 that's been in existence for at least 3 years. And we're really looking to try to help more people know about the great work our nonprofits are doing to help our community that won't likely end up on the TV news. We know that some of the larger organizations, we hear about them all the time, and they're doing great work, but there's so many other boots on the ground organizations that could use some funding and some cheerleading and encouragement in addition to volunteers. So this is a very easy way for a very busy business person or professional to hear about a variety of nonprofits and champion them. And then their give is $250 every quarter. And so if you imagine and do the math, we've got at least 100 businesses who are committing to supporting one nonprofit at $250. Very quickly, we're making a huge impact collectively instead of if we could just donate ourselves. So we're very excited about that, and you can learn more about it at 100 BTC Greater Phoenix, I think, is our organizational website, and I'll make sure to put it in the notes as well.
Or just 100 businesses that care Greater Phoenix.
Do we have that? Yes, it's all. Yes, I suppose. Hey, that's how Google works, right? Yes. and then I want to mention too briefly, Mary Hall is our other founder. Myself, Jacqueline, and Mary is a culture-wise consultant, and I've met her through conscious capitalism. So it's fun to bring all, like we were saying earlier, all these different groups and like-minded individuals to further the mission and the purpose around doing good business.
And your coaching practice has been around for a long time, and that's just always going in the background, right?
Yep.
As well as having the radio station. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So it's been word of mouth and referral for a good 13 years, which is why I opened the studio 4 years ago, because I wanted to find a way to let more people know about what I was doing without having to be the cold salesperson. I don't do well with that. And it's been very effective. So I work with oftentimes small businesses, but also individuals who are looking to get to that next level in their life. They're typically high-performing individuals who are doing really well, either financially or maybe physically or in their relationship, but there's one area of their life that's been that sticking point. And so we help identify what that is, what their learning style is, where maybe some of their roadblocks are, and then help them get out of that rut, so to speak. And then Kelly introduced me to trauma work about 2 years ago when I went through a traumatic experience myself and had to find a way to quickly heal and continue to show up in life for myself and my kids. And so I've since become a trauma guide. After 4 sessions with the trauma guide that Kelly introduced me to, I'm like, where do I learn how? This was the missing piece of my coaching practice that I didn't even know was missing. And so now I'm on the board for our trauma integration group. And we have a Mind Well show here at the studio that Michelle Jones, our instructor and lead practitioner, hosts. And it's all around mindful wellness and the impact that trauma can have on us, both negatively and positively. So for next year for me, it looks at like some online coaching programs and instead of just the one-on-one, so that I can help and reach out to more people.
The trauma stuff is integrated into our lives no matter what, right? It's there, but it's often not talked about in business.
No.
And I love when I met Julie Gustafson is the one that I introduced you to, and it was like, wait a second, like you said, everything's going great, but there's this one piece, right? What is this one piece that's holding me back? Or what is this one area of my life that I'm not doing so well in? Mm-hmm. And what are those triggers and what are those things? And it was like, I've never been to anything like it in my entire life, right? So I was like, oh my gosh, this is the best thing ever. So just to keep, referring people and bringing people together. And I loved that we got to help them start the trauma integration, so that they can train other practitioners, other people, other coaches to do this work, because the integration, right? It's a whole person. It's not just, let's get you well, for business, or let's get you well for
holistic.
It's a holistic approach to the being, right? For all of us to survive, to thrive, we have to have all of it.
And you've been a big part of that. So you've been a client of Julie's, right? Which is why you referred me. And we would be remiss if we didn't thank you for saying, from that business perspective, more people need to learn how to do this. How can we lay this out? So Julie and of course Michelle that I mentioned have been working with you as their orchestrator, I think, which is so lovely, and helping bring a collaborative picture, and not just us as trauma guides, but recently you've been helping them develop kind of a collaborative, right? Mm-hmm. So, the yoga instructor, the meditative instructor, the intuitive coach, the health coach, widening the network so that when we can work through the trauma and we have a client who says, wow, now I want to do X, Y, Z. If we as a practitioner can't manage that ourselves and it's out of our wheelhouse, we have a great referral source. But Kelly, that's been all you. So thank you. I mean, not all you, right? But you've been really helpful to help them design the next level business.
When I started with her probably 4 or 5 years ago, there was only 2 practitioners in the entire state doing this work. I'm like, wait a second, not everybody can be served like that. This doesn't. And so, Michelle and Julie, we did what I call brain dump sessions. So clients come in, we're like, just give me all you got and just tell me what you're working on. And then let's mind map it. Let's figure out a solution. So they just started, brain dumping to me. And all of a sudden I was like, you guys, this is a whole business. And I just started drawing and doing all these things. And out of
9 or 10, how many practitioners?
12.
Jen Burwell, I know you know Jen with Mac 6. I think Jill does too. So Jen was with Mac 6 for a very long time and just recently branched out on her own for her business. She was a client of mine for both business and, of course, working through some of the things we're lightly talking about. And Jen is now a certified practitioner as well, and it's amazing.
Oh, I just love it. The ripple effect,
the
right?
concentric circle, right? It just keeps growing and growing, and all those incredible connections.
And speaking of small business, tell you at the beginning, Jill, you talked about. I didn't even realize that there's a whole, department to help small business in the Tempe city. Is that terrible that I don't know that? I've been in Tempe my whole life. I'll admittedly say I show up in business. I show up personally, but I just have seemed to leave out, I don't know why, in my brain, politics. It's just gone, right? So then I think of, okay, well, the Tempe government is just one of those things, right? It's just not in my radar. And when I started having this show, I was like, oh my gosh, wait a second. We need more people coming together, collaborating. Let's do this. So when Mayor Corey Woods, last summer when he was inducted, I had him on the radio show and Local First. And, and I was like, okay, come on, you guys, let's all figure out a way to help each other.
Right. Absolutely.
So tell us about the small businesses or how you help small businesses.
Sure. So, in economic development, people hear those words and they go, well, what the heck is that, right? Yeah. And nobody really goes to school to be an economic developer anyway. So really, it's, being an advocate and a guide and a resource for our business community. That's really kind of what economic development exists to do, and to help create jobs and capital investment in our city. Those are the kinds of things that we're measured against. But with our small business community, the kinds of things that we like to do at Tempe are just make sure that, every resource that can help a business maintain, grow, thrive, stay in our community and be, like I said, happy, healthy, and here. So, for example, it might be that we refer them to some workshops to help them with some of the financial learning that they might really benefit from the SBDC or from SCORE, the Service Corps of Retired Executives, which is a nonprofit that I think a lot of folks have started to learn about. But they're really a fantastic organization that gives a lot of good advice. It doesn't cost anything for their business advice, and it's retired executives that just want to give back. So, and it's administered through the Small Business Association. So these people are trained and vetted, and they have some terrific experience to share. Some of the other things that we do, I guess I can talk about some of the things we did over this last 18 months that we're very proud of. We were able to launch a grant program and provide grants to 183 Tempe businesses. We know that, they use those for things just like kind of, paying for their electric bill or, paying for rent, or maybe they had some extra PPE that they needed to buy or some modifications at their business to keep everybody safe. So they were able to use those monies in that way. We also provided sanitizers and masks to about 700 Tempe businesses. Certainly all of this with the help of our partners. We couldn't have done it without the Chamber, without tourism, and without our Downtown Tempe Authority. So, those are the kinds of things that we've done in the most recent period. But, we help folks with plan review and permitting. we just try to be a resource and a help in every way that we can, and a connector. That's probably the overarching theme, is a connector to resources. And we save time and money. I always say I don't have a checkbook, but I can save folks time and money.
Could I ask a question? I know the answer to this, but I'm not sure that our listeners would know. That the Downtown Tempe Authority, kind of what is their role? Before I came to Mac 6, I was going to take a space right next to their office again 4 years ago, and that's the first I learned about them. But for our listeners who may not know, I think they play a really cool role for Tempe and Arizona, but Tempe businesses.
Absolutely. So the Downtown Tempe Authority is our business improvement district, and so they manage the fees they collect from the businesses in our downtown district, and they use those to implement all kinds of services and programs in our downtown, whether it's for security or cleaning or managing parking. And probably those are kind of the behind the scenes things that folks don't think about that are really important. But also what they do that they're really known for, and they do extremely well on, is they plan a lot of the big events downtown. For example, the arts festivals, and they do a fabulous job of that. It's one of the largest, most well-attended ones in the country, in fact, and it's held twice a year, and we're really excited. The next one is coming up the first weekend of December, and we weren't able to have it last year because of COVID, so it's exciting to see that happening again in our city. And they just do a lot of great things with our downtown businesses to keep them healthy and growing and serve their needs, and they work a lot with the city hand in hand.
Oh, I love that. And connecting people and connecting the arts with
Right.
with the businesses, with what a cool collaboration. Speaking of collaboration.
All kinds of placemaking that they do downtown as well.
Yeah.
All sorts of really fun events. They're in charge of the parade that's going to be happening, I believe, next Friday. Is that right,
Yes,
Denise?
next Friday, and then they have the boat parade coming up, which is my favorite. They're going to do that a little different this year, but it should be great. And they do all the festivals down there that we all love and enjoy. Was it Saturdays in the park or Sundays? What's the Sunday?
Oh, yeah.
Sunday.
They've got Sunday events.
Sunday events.
Now that they've just started to launch, and then they did Park After Dark, and they're trying to just really reactivate downtown to get more foot traffic down there, and help those businesses get some of those revenues going again, because it's been a bit of a rough time, obviously, with so many of the office workers gone, and that's the largest group of their clientele really in that area.
Yeah.
And everyone wants to get out now and have fun and see people and do things. And so the DTA, Downtown Tempe Authority, puts on so many great things so that we can get out and enjoy the great city of Tempe.
Yeah, I love all the different things that they offer. What a cool thing. Okay, so speaking of the business community, a lot of people know the chamber for usually one thing, right? Whether it's they know it because, I need to join the chamber so I can network. I need to join the chamber so I can have my name seen and be a sponsor, right? So typically it's one thing, but the chamber does so many things. And I know this because I've been a chamber member for probably 18 years, right? Don't say my age out loud, right? But tell us, for people who don't know, that the overarching, right? It's not just one, it's so many things. So business advocacy and all those.
Right. So when we are pitching our memberships to different organizations that haven't joined us yet, some of them will tell us, we don't have time to attend the events. We're not an event group. We don't have time. But that's not what we do. We do have some events, and those are more networking events for those people who do want to get out there, and those are mainly for the smaller businesses that want to network, and sometimes for the larger businesses that just need the resources. For example, Peloton just came on, just came into Tempe, and we are all very excited. The city is too. So they have been attending our events, believe it or not, a large company, but that's because they're new to Tempe, and they want to meet people, and they want to connect with those resources that they need. But I would say the number one thing that most organizations don't realize that we do for them, and even though we keep telling them, is we're an advocate for them. We are the voice of business, and as far as legislative issues, and we are the ones that will push for pro-business initiatives, and we hold our legislators accountable for that. We are part of the EVCCA, which is the East Valley Chamber of Commerce Alliance. There are 7 of us chambers here in the East Valley that are part of that, and Tempe is also part of it. And we put together a legislative agenda. We work on that on a weekly basis, and we distribute that to our legislators, and then we grade them on it afterwards as to how they voted, if they voted on business-friendly legislation. And they are looking forward to that report card, and they want to see an A on there. And unfortunately, there are some that end up with a D, and they get really upset, but they're not voting business-friendly. And so we are promoting all of these things on all of our members' behalf and all of the business community's behalf. So that's the number one thing that I think people don't realize.
I had no idea. I'm impressed, and what a great way to hold them accountable.
Thank you.
I love it.
Yeah, I was in the chamber. It didn't occur to me, probably because it just didn't come up until I was on the board of directors of the chamber. We have voting, right? And we all started talking. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm embarrassed that I now am already now on the board of directors, and I didn't know that. So that's huge. It's huge for people. And speaking of which, Business RadioX is the exact same thing. You're a voice for business. Tell us more, how you partner with people like me and associations and cities. And, there's so many people that you help in the community. By partnering with them as their media source. You're not just a media source. You're so many other things. So
well, I think we always say we're the last thing we do is media, even though it's very apparent that's what we do, right? So we really help people create relationships with the people that they want to do business with or that they want to thank and nurture that relationship along. So you had mentioned, Jill, Arizona Commerce Authority a while ago, and they help sponsor the Arizona Tech Council show that we do once a month with Steve Zalstra. He and I both co-host that. We have it tomorrow, actually. And Conscious Capitalism, I mentioned, we do their show People and Profit. Max 6, our building where the community that we're sitting in here, we do their show as well. So we partner with organizations, professional organizations. I'd love to see some of the trade organizations create their own radio show and podcast as well, because again, it's a chance to let people know about the great work they're doing and stand out in their industry or in their community. And then there's several business owners like yourself, Kelly, and Joe Puz, who got to just join us for the Max 6 Thanksgiving lunch a few minutes ago after his show today. Joe's been with us for 4 years as a client of mine, and he's a project management consultant, and all of his guests are worldwide. So while Joe comes into the studio and Daryl helps produce, we're always using the Zoom platform to have him connect with other project managers and authors and speakers all over the world. And this particular platform, in the last 4 years that he's been with us, has given him the leverage to be seen as one of the influencers for project management worldwide. And he continues to receive accolades as a result of that. So, and he'll always say, I'm just average Joe. I just was doing my thing. But now his business has grown from party of one in 4 years, just Joe as a consultant, to now he has a team, I believe, of 12. And he's opened up a second branch of his business, which is providing a leader platform for project managers. So a lot like what Kelly does in her business with KL Consulting, that's part of what I do as well, not only in my coaching practice, but every time I'm working with an organization or a business owner, we're listening to the conversations they're having with their guests. And like you two do as well. Who do you need to know? What resource do you need? Let me make that connection. Let's invite them, to be a guest so that you can accelerate that relationship and then see where the synergy is. Local First Arizona has their show with us as well. And again, several business owners. When I started this, had I thought it was media, I would have run in the other direction. Not because I am opposed to media, but I knew nothing about it. And so I've had to learn, feet to the fire. This is for me about building relationships and really nurturing the longevity around being champions for each other so that we can all succeed together.
And there's so many reasons, right? So we all need each other. If we can work together, we do better, right? So if we involve the chambers, if we involve the cities, if we come together as a community of small businesses, large businesses, and help each other, we all do better. We all, it helps all of us. And you're the perfect thing to do that. I don't think people realize that. So I wanted you to talk just like the chamber. I wanted you to talk about and it's not just one thing. You're not just media. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm sad when I hear business owners and it doesn't happen very often anymore, but they'll say to me, either the Tempe business community or the Arizona business community isn't friendly, or they're hard to break into. And I often say to them when I hear that at different networking events, who are you talking to? Because I talk to business owners all day long. Daryl sits in the studio 5 days a week, 4 shows a day, and we hear the opposite. We hear about the collaboration. We hear about the organizations that are championing for us, advocating for us, both when it comes to law and that sort of thing, in addition to resources. This is one of the greatest communities, the city of Tempe, and I grew up here as well. And that's what I want to continue to let people know. Like Arizona and Tempe specifically is a force to be reckoned with. And this is the place where you want to raise your family and have your business.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I love it. We all are fans of Tempe, obviously.
Yes.
What's coming next besides the job? Blizzard. I'm going to get it right at some point. Jill, what's coming in 2022 for you guys for the city?
So we just received some funding for some additional small business programs we're really excited about. One of them in particular that we'll be hopefully launching in the spring is the Small Business Technical Assistance Program. And what does that mean? That's kind of a mouthful, but basically our businesses are telling us they need help with marketing, they need help with social media, they need help with recruiting and hiring. They need, maybe some mentors or some consultants to help with some of these things. So we're going to be hiring a group of consultants that can provide a platform to do that is probably the easiest way to say that. And so, because, we're a small team and we can only reach so many businesses on our own. So if we can hire a group to help us with that, and we looked at best practices across the country and even in the region, and several other cities are doing that and doing it well. So we're excited to see, the different groups that bid on that. Hint, hint, folks that want to be looking for that to come out in the near future and bid on it. And, to select a great group that's going to help Tempe businesses move to the next level.
Oh, I love that. I just have had recently several clients say to me, not everybody can be your client, right? You can't help everybody. Are you going to write a book? Are you going to what else are you going to do? Because I'm doing that exact thing, right? Like helping them start their business, grow their business, sustain their business. That's what my business is. And so I love that the city's going to do that. We need more. If I could just duplicate myself, we'd be in better shape. And it sounds like the city's going to do that. How cool is that?
When will that be launched? In January? Is that right? Or
that'll be in the spring.
Okay.
I couldn't give you quite exactly a date, but it'll be in the spring because we've got to go through a bid process and selection.
Come back, and whether it's Kelly's show or my show or one of our other shows, come back and celebrate. That's huge. I know Local First did, I think, something similar recently. Does that sound right? I don't know, but
they've done some similar things. City of Mesa did a great job in offering a platform around that. City of Phoenix offered something similar. And then we looked at some other cities across the country, and we're really excited about it.
Yeah, come back and let's tell that story and share some of the success, or at least get people introduced to it, because I think that's huge. Again, since I'm a small micro business, it's important to get the help that you need before you can have a full-time team.
Another thing I don't want to fail to mention, it's kind of exciting. It's more of a regional play. I help lead the team of cities that put on the Entrepreneur Week events. And so there are 6 of us that participate in that. And this year we're doing it a little bit differently. It's going to be a one-day event. We're going to put all of our resources into that one day, have some really great speakers and topics and resources to help entrepreneurs and startups and small businesses and really show them the love. And that'll be in April. And so kind of stay tuned for that. Phoenix East Valley Partnership helps us with that. And then the cities participating in that this year are Tempe, Mesa, Chandler, Queen Creek, Apache Junction, and Gilbert.
Awesome. Oh, that's
I knew I was going to forget somebody there.
Speaking of the economic vitality of the city in general, how do you guys have that? How are you going to help that at the chamber, Denise?
Well, in collaboration with the city, I mean, I think that we collaborate so well together on all of these things that Jill was just speaking about. It's the city here is great about keeping everybody involved. So we have a group called Team Tempe. I love that name, Team Tempe. That's the city, the chamber, the DTA, and the Tempe Tourism. And we meet on a weekly basis and we share. We don't keep anything from each other. and we share and we work together to maintain the city's economic vitality. For the chamber, we have Business Academy starting up again. This will be our second year of Business Academy, and this is a leadership and educational program. And we're starting off with our first speaker will be ex-mayor Neil Giuliano, which is a fantastic speaker on leadership. So we are starting that program up again. We have our Woman in Business Mentorship program that is just starting up as well. And I think we were talking a little bit about that earlier, but that's a fantastic program. I was a mentor myself once, and you get just as much out of it being a mentor as you are as a protege. We have a speaker series that aligns with that, where anyone can come. It doesn't have to be just women. We don't limit it to women. As we know, Daryl's going to be a part of it too. And in fact, I was really, really blessed to get the first male protege that the Chamber's Women in Business program ever had. And he was assigned to me. And at first I thought, oh, I wanted a young woman. Why do I get a guy? But then, I was, it was just really a blessing for me. And after getting to know him, he actually became the Chamber of Commerce chairman of the board. Oh, so, so we had a great relationship. We still have a great relationship. So it's a really great program. You learn a lot from each other, and it really helps build your leadership skills and your professional skills in the workplace. So those are just a couple of things that we're doing. We just finished our State of the City, which was a huge event. We work with the mayor and the city council on a lot of different programs, and we're working with the city on sustainability and their climate action plan as well.
Oh, that's so good. And you're working with, you have a sustainability committee even for that.
Yes, we do.
You have so many things in the chamber. It's hard to keep track of all of them, right?
Right. We even have a sustainability pledge that businesses can go online to tempechamber.org and sign up. And that's their pledge, saying that they're going to operate their businesses in a sustainable way. And we were the first chamber to implement this. So we're really, very proud of that.
Oh, that's so exciting. I can't wait I've been a part of almost everything. Once you become a Tempe Chamber member and start to get involved, you kind of get sucked in, right?
Yeah.
But there's so many cool things. The mentoring program you talked about, again, if we all help each other, right? So I was a mentee, started one of my businesses through that program with Jackie Thompson, who used to work for Southwest Airlines, as my mentor. Can't get hardly any better. I know. I was very lucky to have her as a mentor, and then have done the other side, right? Being a mentor twice. And you learn so much about yourself as a leader. We were talking about earlier having Career Ready Tempe. Anything that you can do as on the mentor side or professional development as a mentee, as a protege, it's important, and it's a win-win all the way around. I always learn something every time I'm in that program. And that leadership speaker series that you have end of January, beginning of February is coming up. That has the best speakers always, and it's always underattended. It used to be in the past, probably 10, 15 years ago before you guys were involved. It was underattended, and I thought, oh my gosh, everybody needs to hear these speakers. Everybody needs to hear all these people's amazing wisdom, and so I hope that they'll, you can come as a non-member.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah. It's a great way to kind of come feel the community a little bit, to come to that, to the State of the City, right? There's events that people can come to that aren't members to get a feel for how nice we are.
Right. And members always get a special rate, though. But we welcome non-members to come and experience the chamber and its offerings as well.
Yeah. And we just passed Veterans Day. I know Suki's no longer with the chamber. She's moved on to another opportunity. So I only know about the veteran group through Suki. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, so we have a Military Affairs Committee, which we call MAC, and we do a lot with them. In fact, there's banners, veterans tribute banners that are hung downtown Tempe on Mill Avenue and on Ash right now. And our Military Affairs Committee actually purchased 7 banners to honor 7 of our Tempe veterans, and they're hanging right now mainly on Ash. So that's just one of the things that they do. We just honored 2 servicemen recently, I think it was just last week, at the 161st Air Refueling, and they were both women, which I loved seeing that this year. But it's really an organization to honor our veterans and to help our veterans in find what they need and help them out as well as honor them.
That's another workforce thing, right? There's a lot of veterans that need jobs,
Yes.
that are looking for jobs. And in one of my past lives, when I was trying to decide what I was going to do next, this is my fourth business, and I thought, I think I'm going to go work for somebody, Well, no, I don't think so. I think I'll just start another business. But I heard a lot about the when I was even looking, right, and trying to get hired, it is a terrible, the system I feel like is broken, right, of really good, skilled people trying to get hired. And I know, Denise, you and I had this conversation, I don't know how many years ago, about the process of, like, you have to go online and you have to fit the algorithms perfectly great,
or you get kicked out,
right? Or nobody's looking at it. I feel like we need to have something to help to fix that problem.
It's interesting that you bring that up because me and Jill were just on a presentation yesterday, I believe it was, and it was very interesting. And it was talking about how employers are having a hard time hiring people, and there are hidden talents out there, which includes veterans, which includes ex-convicts, which includes moms who can only work, from 9 to 3 because they need to be able to drop their kids off and they need to be able to pick them up. But all of these different hidden talents that employers can use for their workforce. And so we in the city and DTA and Tempe Tourism, we're all going to be working together, Team Tempe, to further investigate this and see what we can get out to our employers. There's also, it was interesting to hear about how some businesses are rewarding their employees, both the new employees and their current employees. For example, there's one company that pays them after each day of work. They pay them every day. And so we found that was an interesting way. And then there are companies that give hiring bonuses, but then the people that work there are like, well, what about me? I've been loyal. I've been working for you for 5 years, and what do we get out of it? So now they're starting to offer the stay at work bonuses.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So,
and it's hard to compete, though, if you're a small business and trying to compete against bigger businesses who can afford to pay these bonuses, can't afford to pay. I have a client who's a home care agency, 150 employees, and she's like, I don't know how I'm supposed to compete, but a lot of access and a lot of, are her clients and her caregivers. How am I supposed to compete with, offering these huge bonuses to get caregivers to come to work? The shortage is so critical right now, and so I'm just hoping that the cities and the chambers and everybody can help, either with the hiring process and or with the shortage.
Yeah, because there are other benefits too that they can give. It kind of depends on the business. You have to adapt it to your business.
Yeah, like Denise said, if you really want to target moms that are interested in working limited hours, that might be a hidden workforce that you haven't tapped into yet. So I would just say kind of stay tuned, because I think you're going to see some exciting offerings from Team Tempe
I love it.
on these topics to really help our businesses with some of these meaty issues that they're dealing with right now.
Oh, that would be huge. Keep me posted. I'll be pulling all those resources in for my clients, because they're always asking me, for hiring help or whatever it is to grow their business. So keep me posted on all that.
And shout out to the Center for the Future of Arizona, because they've done some really powerful research on these kinds of things. So folks may want to check in into kind of what they're doing too.
Say it again one more time.
The Center for the Future of Arizona.
Oh, wow.
There's always, all these things, right?
Yeah.
It's like the center.
I feel like I'm pretty well dialed in, just given the gift that I get to meet so many business owners and professional organizations. But I've heard a couple of new little nuggets today. That's great.
So exciting. Well, can you believe we've been talking for almost an hour? I cannot believe it. It goes
and
by
somebody
so
here, I
fast.
won't mention names, was worried that it would just be too long.
No.
We did good.
No. We are on Phoenix Business RadioX, so I would love to hear the success formula that you guys have created. I know it very intimately.
Well,
I love it for my business, but
thank you, Daryl. You kind of alluded to it earlier, that while we are media, we're really about building relationships, but there's so many other aspects. So we really kind of divided into a six-sided success formula, increased visibility being one of them, of course, by the very nature of being on a live radio program and having it be a podcast that's available, anytime, day or night, all over the world. In addition to all of us here, our teams will now push it out to social media. That many more people know us about it. So it helps increase your visibility. Lead generation, we hear that's the number one thing from our organizations that need new members or our business owners who need to have more clients or customers. This is a great way to create lead generation. And of course, instant credibility. It's kind of a funny term, but you all come with just a vast amount of expertise and knowledge, and Kelly gave us an opportunity to speak to that. Media does a funny thing for us, right? If you're in a magazine or if you're on a TV show or a podcast or radio show, people think, wow, what is Denise? Denise is doing something right. If people are listening to her, and she has an opportunity to share that credibility very easily. And then this is, I think, one of Kelly's favorite parts as one of our clients. It's a content creator. Everything that we do is Creative Commons content. So if David is listening from the Tempe Chamber, I think I've already told him this, but he can take each of Denise's little snippets and the stories and the wisdom that she's shared, and he can pull it into smaller sound bites so that you have those on the Tempe Chamber, social media, and Kelly does that for a lot of our clients and her clientele as well. And then the thing that we've done that I haven't mentioned is this is a conversation around thought leadership, right? Bringing these collaborative efforts together and really representing businesses and the community. This is a chance and a platform to share what makes a difference in our community. So those are all the things that we're proud of. And as you mentioned earlier, we look at it through one lens. I'm the relationship person, so I'm always looking at it through that. But that relationship that's created here in this moment and in these moments for all of our clients just has this ripple effect, and there's all the different ways in which to use this experience. So thank you for asking. And Daryl, thanks for the prop.
Daryl's behind the scenes producing our show today. Yes. So before we end, Jill, Denise, and Karen, I just want to thank you all for coming today. Thank you for your collaboration with all of us, small businesses, big business, associations, all of us. It's so important, right? We can continue to develop, continue to grow, and continue to make a difference. Elevating humanity, as conscious capitalism says, right? If we all help each other. So thank you all very much for coming. Jill, can you tell listeners where everybody can find you?
Oh, absolutely. Jill _Buschbacher at tempe.gov. My last name is spelled Buschbacher. Pleased to work with you and help you. And if you go to the tempe.gov website and look up economic development as well.
Does the City of Tempe have a LinkedIn page, and do you have one professionally, individually as well? Are you active on LinkedIn too?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, good.
Yes. Thank you for reminding me.
Yeah. I just know a lot of people of our listeners will not only go, of course, to your website, but they like to make those connections on LinkedIn as well. So
we hope everybody's on LinkedIn.
Absolutely.
I'm limping along.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Denise, what about you? How people can get a hold of you in the chamber?
Okay, well, our website is tempechamber.org, and you can find me at Denise at tempechamber.org. Easy. And I am on LinkedIn, and just look me up by Denise Hart. You'll find me really quickly. And please look me up. Love to see all of you. Try to connect with me because I'd love to connect with everybody.
Awesome. Thank you very much. And Karen?
Yes, phoenixbusinessradiox.com. We are on LinkedIn, and I am on LinkedIn individually. My coaching practice right now is quite full, so it's by referral only or even just reach out, but have yet to do any marketing. Once we launch the online program, then we'll have a website for that. And LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, and I'm grateful for both Daryl and James, who is our social media specialist, and Mary, even our intern with Career Ready Tempe. She's doing some social media for us. She's taking those little sound bites that I mentioned that we, can create out of these shows and turning them into audiograms. And of course, Kelly, I know I'm a guest, but this is a great relationship, not only a friendship, but everything that you've done to help me grow these last 2 years. I'm very, very grateful for you.
I can't believe it's only been 2 years.
And we've really only known each other for that long because we became fast friends. A lot of people, you'd been on with us as a guest years before, like 2 years before.
Right.
And then people kept saying, you got to get to know Kelly. And finally we're like, okay, let's meet. And then we're like, where have you been all my life? And we've just been, again, friends, but also champions for each other businesses and certainly helping each other get to that next level. So thank you.
Instantly connected, right? I have found especially in the last 6 months or a year, and I'm not sure if it's the pandemic or, the openness or the collaboration or what it is, but I have the most loving clients. So thank you very much. I really appreciate it. You've been listening to Collaborative Connections radio show and podcast sponsored by KLM. We're a business development firm. If you want to start, grow, or sustain your small business, give us a call. Thank you for listening, and until next time, happy connecting.